Can I put like air quotes inside of air quotes? I don't know. All that to be said, Brian Lowell said something one day and it really stuck with me. But he said, turn your waiting room into your classroom. What does that mean? Well, basically, it is don't waste. What is going on, everybody? This is Danny with My Fig Sticks, where I'm fueling my fig addiction one air layer at a time. In today's video, I want to do a quick check-in on some of the experiments that I have going. One of those includes an up potting, so stay tuned for that. But also wanted to look at the other air layers that I had and how they are doing since I up potted them. Check on an air layer that I have going. Ask you all, what should I do with this I-258 air layer? I think I'm running out of time. Anyway, stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you get something out of it. Let me know in the comments. All right, first off, let's look at my past air layers that I recently up potted. I think we're closing in on 3 weeks. Maybe we're right. Maybe we're right at 3 weeks. So about 3 weeks ago, I took these air layers off of their mother trees. These were the experiments. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I up potted them and I wanted to give you a look at their progress. How have they taken to their up potting? How have they taken to not having their mother tree to help them out? Let's take a look. All right, we'll just start right here. So this one is a Celeste. It is a full girdle, and this one was, let's see, this one was in the Vital Earth soil. So this is how I labeled these, y'all, just to keep up. I wanted to continue the experiment past the point of rooting to see how they did post-rooting. So this was a full girdle. It had decent roots on it. And now when I up potted all these, I did them all exactly the same. I used kind of my version of Cajun Chuck's potting mix. It's got some well, it's got my garden soil, my potting soil. It's got some worm castings. It's got some peat moss. It's got vermiculite. No, I'm sorry, not vermiculite, perlite. So I did a lot of that plus fertilizer. So all of this soil actually was mixed up in a giant wheelbarrow and then put into these pots. So this Celeste is doing very well, although it is not putting on any real new growth. But let's move down to this one. So this one is a half girdle and it was rooted in the Pro Mix. Let's see, this one is a Texas Everbearing. Now this one had figs on it. If you watched any of my videos, I did a taste test on one of these figs. You need to go check that out. If I can figure out how, I will link that up in the video. But if you can tell, this one has got some new top growth, looking good, but it's also got some side branches coming out. Just a couple side branches. They're not real large, but they're doing very good. And again, this is a half girdle. So I only girdled half of the stem before I put my soil pot on, and I use Pro Mix as the rooting medium. And then let's move over to this. Look at this, y'all. Look at the growth on this Texas Everbearing. This is a half girdle. Y'all, this is the one, if you watched my air layer video where I did an update where I actually up potted all of these, this is the one where the roots were so large, they were busting open the soil pod. Look at the growth. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely insane. Y'all, this is a whole side shoot. Y'all, this isn't 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That is a whole new side shoot. Here's another side shoot. Here's another side shoot. Wow. That is absolutely incredible that this tree could do this in just 3 weeks. And again, this was a half girdle and it was rooted in the Vital Earth mix that I make. So what made the difference? What is it, the Vital Earth that it was rooted in? Was it the fact that I only half girdled it? I don't know yet, but I wanted to point that out, and that is why I labeled all these as such. Now, here is another Texas Everbearing. This one, I used the Pro Mix for the rooting medium. And this is the one I only just scratched. Look at all the new growth. This is all new growth up here. Absolutely crazy. Look at this side branch right here. This is looking really, really well, and I'm excited to see this. And again, this is one that I just scratched. Now, I will say that I gave away a couple of the others. My mom's birthday was a couple weeks ago, and I did give her a couple of my air layers for her backyard. But wanted to give y'all an update on all of these air layers and where they stand. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to tell a difference, and I'll know which way works best, which way grows best post rooting later on this fall before they all go dormant. All right, so this is where I have a question for all of you. This air layer on this I-258 I did in order to more or less top this tree. You can see no branching down below. It all started way up here. So I need, obviously I can't reach the figs up here right next year. No way, I'm gonna need a ladder. I'm too old for all of that. So what I was essentially doing was trying to top this tree with an air layer. However, I'm using a little different method on this one. This is another experiment. First off, I'm using the Ziploc bag method. I think that is what most people prefer, but I'm also on the nodes, on two nodes that are encapsulated inside of this bag. I just did a nick in the bark. Now I did get the bark and the cambium layer on both sides of two different nodes. So 4 different nicks in the bark. Y'all, it is taking forever for this guy to root out. It does have roots. I'll try to zoom in. Maybe y'all can see that. It does have roots showing now, but not a lot. I'm really afraid right now that if I cut this off, it's not going to have established roots enough to be able to sustain itself and continue to grow. My thought process on this, by the way, was I'm trying to save all these figs. I don't know if you can see those figs. Maybe I can zoom in. Maybe you can see them. Maybe not. It's loaded with figs. There's no fewer than 15 figs from this air layer up. So that was my thought was, hey, I'll use this method. All of these figs will have a chance to ripen. They're not even swelling yet. I don't know that they're going to. That really doesn't matter to me at this point. I need these roots to happen now. So I need your help. What can I do to make these roots take off and grow? Is there something that I can add to my rooting medium, inject maybe? Y'all, I watched a video just this couple days ago from Mike Kincaid. He was trying to go no full. Now he's in a greenhouse, I'm outdoors. His thought was removing the full allowed for the hotter temperatures to heat up the soil, and that spurred on more root growth. Again, he's in a greenhouse, I'm outdoors. Will that work for me? Can I take the full off? Will that temperature help spur the growth? I don't know. I need all of your help. I need these roots to start establishing themselves in this sandwich bag so that I can cut this off and get him in a pot and get him rooted and established before I run out of time, before my temperatures here in East Texas get to the point where all of these trees begin to go dormant. This next video is really about a big thank you to figologists and just another shout out to the fig community. I've gotten so many people to give me ideas on try this, try that, see if it works for you. Y'all, this is a brown turkey. I'm calling it the Canton Unknown because it was not labeled. They simply told me it was a brown turkey, but this tree was 6.5, 7 foot tall, and it had tiny little branches at the bottom. Hopefully I can find an old clip and I can kind of put that up here, but it had tiny branching at the bottom and then lots of branching at the very top. Same as the I-258. No way I was going to be able to reach those figs next year as it began to grow. So what I did, and this was based on the figologist's suggestion, I cut the whole top of this tree out, y'all. And the idea was to spur on the growth of these lower limbs. Look at the growth of these lower limbs, y'all. This was probably 6 to 8 weeks ago, but look how long these limbs are. Look at all of the new growth. It's now putting on figs. It didn't have any of that before. This is where I topped it. I did wrap that in some grafting tape, but look at the growth. What a fantastic idea that came from Figologist, and it worked. This is definitely an experiment gone right. I have learned a lot from this. Now my biggest problem is figuring out which one of these scaffolds do I want to keep. I mean, it looks so fantastic, but I know some of these have got to come off as they begin to shed their leaves a little bit later this year. I will make that decision. But wow, big thank you to Figologist for the idea. What a success this experiment has been. Now we are to a really cool experiment. This one came from the Hapless Hobo. Y'all, my very first My Fig Sticks video was me trying air layers for the first time. The Hapless Hobo asked a question in the comments. Have you ever tried doing nothing? Have you ever tried no hormone, no girdle, no scratching, no nicks, nothing? Simply rooting mix in a soil pod. Well, that's what I did with this one. And y'all, check this out. Again, nothing at all. Can y'all see all of the roots? Hopefully that is focusing in. This is absolutely incredible. Nothing at all on this tree. No nicks, no girdle, no nothing on this limb and the roots that I've gotten. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this air layer and I'm going to up pot it for you guys. I know y'all have seen this 1,000 times, but who doesn't love a good air layer up potting clip? All right, so hopefully you can see all of the roots that we have there. I'm going to go ahead and nip this. Now, I may have made a mistake on this one, but I put this one almost right up against the main stem. So that'll be interesting. I have already sanitized my loppers here. So let's go ahead and take this guy. I think, ooh, I put that tight. Man, I put that tight. Hopefully y'all can see this, but I'm going to go ahead and cut him here. And then we'll get him up potted. All right, here we go. And we have him cut. So there we go. Hopefully that is focusing in for you guys. Wow, the roots on this are just nuts. I'm blown away at the amount of roots, considering there was absolutely nothing on this air layer. But let's go ahead and get him up potted. Now his little buddy below him, not showing any signs of roots, but I'll give it another week or so, and then I may just take that soil pod off and we'll see what's underneath there. You know me, I'll post a video. All right, so this is my pot I'm going to put him in. I have the label. I don't know if y'all can see that. Celeste, do nothing. So kind of lets me know which one of these air layers is which for later on if I want to say, hey, this one did better after up potting, this one did worse after up potting, whatever the case. So let's go ahead and get this cut off. I want to show y'all exactly what these root ball or this root ball looks like. Okay, so this one's got to unsnap. So I don't know about these root balls. There's probably better ones out there. I'm sure there are. Oh, this one is, so I have a hard time getting them to snap, and then this one I can't get unsnapped. Got to be a better way, y'all. Maybe I just need to go with the Ziploc bag method. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. So pop that out. Yeah, the root ball looks very, very good. Now, in my effort to get the dome off, it did kind of split, but it's okay. I didn't disturb them too bad. So I'm thinking that these roots are looking very, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and get him potted up. I'll make a little divot right in the center. He's a little off crooked wise. Yeah, so let me get a little better angle with the camera and we'll get him up potted. I'm probably going to put him in at a little bit of an angle so that I get him straight up and down. Okay, got a little better angle. By the way, this is the soil mix that I used on the rest of my air layer up pots. It is kind of my version of Cajun Chuck's soil mix. It's got peat moss, it's got garden soil, potting soil, mostly potting soil. It's got some worm castings, obviously lots of vermiculite. What I like to do is make a little divot. That helps me kind of see if he's straight or not, which I don't know which way the camera is going to see this best, but that right there is pretty straight up and down. He's not necessarily straight, and so that's why I'm kind of wanting to put him at an angle. Then I'll go ahead and pack him in a little bit. This just holds him here. And then I've got more of my soil mix here, and I'll just get in around him. Make a big mess, but that's why we do this outside. Okay, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Now, I also did mix in some organic fertilizer into my soil mix, and I am liking this. He is very straight, perfectly buried. The soil ball is just underneath my soil level there. I don't want to go too high because I don't want anything to rot out, but I can see that that soil ball is right below my level. In fact, I'm just going to add just a tiny bit more, and then I'll come back and water this in very well. I'll also come back with some Alaska fish fertilizer in the next couple of days. I kind of like to let them get set and water them a few times to make sure that that soil is settled in the best that it can, and then I will add that Alaska fish fertilizer, give them that nutrient jump start that they need, and then I'll mulch it after that. But I am really, really excited and surprised at this air layer, considering that I did absolutely nothing but put soil in a soil pod and wrap it around several nodes on a limb. The only other thing I wanted to mention was, have y'all noticed the fig pots? Y'all, these are some of the first fig pots that I built, and they had faded. I did put polyacrylic on them, but the first few I did not put but like a spray paint can worth of polyacrylic on 3 of them. So they had faded, and I came back with some Ready Seal. Holy cow, did it make these things pop? So I kind of just wanted to show off. I just did this on a whim the other day, and you can tell as I go down to the newer pots, they get less and less bright because the polyacrylic is still fresh on these. In fact, these last 3 down here, they didn't take it at all because of the polyacrylic. But just kind of wanted to show off the fig pots and what a little bit of fresh touch-up sealer can do. I'm using the Ready Seal. I think it was called the Oak, but yeah, I'm liking this. I think that covers all of the experiments that I wanted to look at today, from the air layers and how well they potted up, my question on the I-258 air layer, the Do Nothing air layer. Y'all, one thing that y'all see that I do a lot of experiments, and I wanted to kind of close this out with something Brian Lowell with Next Level Gardening. He quoted someone, and I don't remember who it was that he quoted. So can I put like air quotes inside of air quotes? I don't know. All that to be said, Brian Lowell said something one day, and it really stuck with me. But he said, turn your waiting room into your classroom. What does that mean? Well, basically it is, don't waste today dreaming about tomorrow. Take advantage of today, do these experiments, learn something. Where we are today is not where we're going to be tomorrow or next week or a year from now. Don't waste your time dreaming about tomorrow when you can take advantage of today, try something new, and learn from it. Then you can take what you've learned in your waiting room in your classroom, and you can apply that to your next destination, your next chapter. So something that really stuck with me a while back when I heard Brian mention that, next level gardening. So just remember, turn your waiting room into your classroom. Hey y'all, this is Danny with My Fig Sticks, where fig addiction, we're fueling it one air layer at a time, right? Join the Figolution. Thanks for watching, y'all. Oh, come on, I-258. You have got to get some roots going. I need this to happen tomorrow. Can you do that for me?